I still remember the sound of his laughter echoing through the living room, the same room my father built, brick by brick, with his own hands. That night my stepfather sat on my father's couch, drinking from his glass, calling it his house. That was the moment I stopped seeing him as family. He said it casually, almost like a joke. If you're going to live under my roof, you'll follow my rules. My blood froze. The word "my" lingered in the air like poison. The same roof my father left to me in his will. The same house my mother and I cried in when we buried him. And now, this man, this intruder wrapped in charm, thought he could rewrite ownership. I didn't respond. I just watched him from across the table, smiling faintly. That was the night I decided he wouldn't last here. When my father died, my mother shattered, and he appeared the perfect savior. He was kind, gentle, the kind of man who knew when to bring flowers and when to bring silence. He helped her breathe again, and I didn't stop her from marrying him. She deserved a second chance, I thought. For a while, things were peaceful. His kids moved in, loud and titled, but manageable, the kind of noise you tolerate because your mother is smiling again. Until the smiles began to fade. It started small. He'd refer to the house as ours, then mine. He began locking cabinets, rearranging furniture, setting rules. And one day, he told one of his sons to use my father's study, my study, as their gaming room. I found my father's photograph lying face down on the floor. That was the first crack. The second came when my mother hesitated to intervene. She said, "He's just trying to make everyone comfortable." Comfortable. That word became the blade that cut through every boundary my father left behind. Then came the final blow, the property documents. I found them in his drawer, photocopies of my father's will, highlighted, annotated, as if he was studying how to challenge it. He'd been planning to take it from me, legally. I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I didn't even tell my mother. Instead, I began to document everything. Every word, every action, every threat masked as a rule. I visited the family lawyer, the same one who handled my father's estate. He remembered me. He remembered the will, and he reminded me, no one can claim that property unless you sign it away. That sentence became my armor. I went home that evening with a calm smile. He mistook silence for surrender. He didn't realize silence was strategy. Step 1, I changed the locks. Legally, with notice. Only my name was on the deed. Step 2, I sent a formal eviction notice to all of them. Addressed, dated, signed. Polite, but cold. Step 3, I waited. Predictably, chaos erupted. My mother pleaded, he shouted, his sons cursed. But legally, they had no ground to stand on. The house wasn't ours. It was mine. When the police came, because I called them, I handed them the papers, watched as the officers escorted him and his sons out. They glared at me as if I'd burned their world. Maybe I did. My mother stood there, trembling. Then, without a word, she packed her bag and left with them. That was the only part that hurt. But I didn't stop her. Some people choose peace even when it means losing themselves. 2 weeks later, he came back, alone, standing at the gate holding a folded letter. He said he wanted to talk. I let him in. He looked around like a stranger in a museum. Every corner reminded him of what he lost. He tried to sound calm. "Your mother's miserable. You could have handled this better." I poured him a glass of water. "You could have remembered whose house this was." He smiled, that smug, rehearsed smile. "You think this is over. You'll come begging when the family turns on you." I leaned forward. "I already live alone. What else is there to lose?" His face twisted. The silence that followed was my victory. He left without another word. It's been months now. The house is quiet again. My father's photograph stands on the shelf, upright this time. Sometimes I walk through the halls and listen. The echoes are different now. He thought owning the walls made him powerful. But power doesn't come from possession, it comes from knowing when to reclaim what's yours. My mother still hasn't called. Maybe she won't. Maybe that's the price of peace. But when I look around this house, I know my father would understand. This place isn't just bricks and paint. It's proof that silence can be sharper than any scream. And revenge, the quiet kind, always sounds like the closing of a door.